the country of Turkey. And what I want to do in this English lesson today is read you kind of like a mini chapter about the history of Turkey. We're going to deep dive into a couple parts of their history, but today is just going to be an overview. There are going to be some difficult vocabulary words, which we will talk about in the future. I might briefly mention them today. I'm not an expert on the history of Turkey, but I will do my best to pronounce these words correctly. Some of these that are like unique, well, that's one of them, but they're unique to Turkey. All right, another thing about modern Turkey. When I think of Turkey today, I don't think of it as a superpower. I think of like China. I think of the United States, and maybe the EU, the European countries there. They're big. I don't know, maybe Russia, but definitely not Turkey. But at one time during the history of this planet, Turkey, or you might have heard this area referred to as the Ottoman Empire, was a powerful nation. We're going to go into a little bit of the history. And, a couple of years ago, I don't think it's quite the case now, but a couple of years ago, there was talk of Turkey being involved in the next world war. There's a country called Armenia, which we will talk about quite a bit, and another country called Azerbaijan. And those two countries, while small, do not like each other. It's a big religious thing. I mean, I'm making it very simple and saying it's religious. It's a little more than that, but Azerbaijan, Muslim, Armenia, one of the first Christian nations. And so Turkey backs Azerbaijan. Russia, before its war with Ukraine, backed Armenia. And so with those two countries going, I wouldn't say war, but having skirmishes, like little battles, there was talk of like Turkey, Russia entering this bigger war, which might cause a chain reaction and the beginning of World War I. Things have changed a little bit. Russia has kind of gotten preoccupied with Ukraine, so it's not as much of a threat. Armenia has been kind of left out to dry. They don't have a lot of support anymore. All right, let's make this a little bigger, and we will go over some of these different time periods in Turkey. So you can see right at the top, the history of Turkey, a land of ancient civilizations and modern changes. So here's the introduction. Introduction to Turkey. Turkey is a fascinating country located at the crossroads of Europe and Asia. This unique position has made Turkey a place where many cultures and empires have interacted over thousands of years. Turkey is at as the article said, the crossroads, like the middle. If you go to Istanbul, which I will be going to in about less than 2 months, in about 6 weeks, I will be in Istanbul. And that is one of the it's probably the biggest city that overlaps 2 continents. So there's one side that's in Europe and one side that's in Asia. And so because of that unique position geographically, it's been the center of the world, different periods of time. Ancient times, long before it was called Turkey, this land was home to ancient civilizations like the Hittites and the Byzantines. Around 330 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine made Byzantium, now Istanbul, the capital of the Roman Empire, and it was renamed Constantinople. So at one time, the Roman Empire, which was largely Christian, this was like kind of the center of Christianity. Today, modern times, we'll find out it's not anymore. It is definitely a Muslim country. There's some artifacts of the Hittites. The Ottoman Empire, that was this country's name, this empire's name. After World War I, all that changes. But the Ottoman Empire, the Ottomans were extremely powerful. All right, let's make it even bigger here. The Ottoman Empire. In the late 13th century, a new power began to rise, the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans were skilled warriors and wise rulers who expanded their territory across three continents. They captured Constantinople in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. The Ottomans ruled for over 600 years, and during this time, they created a rich cultural and architectural legacy. I do have that underlined. Architecture. Maybe you know that, but it's like the way buildings are built. Something might be a little wrong with that person there, but this is what AI thought the conquest of Constantinople might have looked like. So after World War One, and the Ottoman Empire gets broken up into many different countries like Iraq, Syria, of course, Turkey. There's a new guy that comes to power, the Republic of Turkey. Also, I have not mentioned this yet, but sometimes lately, within the last couple of years, you will see Turkey not written as Turkey anymore, but more like Turkia. So in English, I don't know, this happens sometimes with countries. In English, the name will change because of just like trying to be more true to the country's native language. Sometimes you'll see that like with the country of the Ivory Coast, sounds English to me. But now if you look on, hey, get back on, lights, let's go. But now if you look on some maps, you'll hear the Ivory Coast called by its French name, Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire. So that happens sometimes. Also, the country of Burma used to be called Myanmar. Or is it the other way around? Myanmar is the modern day, but it used to be Burma. All right, so Turkey, or maybe Turkia. Let's talk about this. Now we're getting into like more modern day, at least like 20th century kind of stuff. So the 1900s. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire was divided and its lands were given to other countries. This led to the Turkish War of Independence, led by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. In 1923, Ataturk founded the Republic of Turkey and introduced many reforms to modernize the country. So reforms are like changes to the law, and he wanted to create a more modern state, such as new laws and a new alphabet. So if you look at how Turkish is written, it's a very difficult language for English speakers to learn, but Turkish is written in the Latin script. It's what English uses. It's not like the Persian script or the Arabic script. It's more, they do have a few like different letters from English, but for the most part, like when you look at it, you will recognize like P's and B's, those kind of letters. And then you can see right there, the Turkish flag there, it does have the crescent moon, which does let people know, hey, Islam is going to be involved somehow here. We got to talk about one big one here. Relationship with neighbors. I've talked about this a little bit. Turkey shares borders with 8 countries and has had complex relationships with them throughout history. It has been involved in various conflicts, but also in cooperation efforts. So if you are cooperating with somebody, you're working with them, especially in trade and cultural exchanges. Now, here's the one that we will probably talk about a little more. It is, in my opinion, hard not to talk about Armenia and the Armenian genocide when we talk about Turkey. Okay, this happened right around World War I. Turkey, or Turkia, has not admitted to this. The Armenian genocide. During World War I, a tragic event occurred within the Ottoman Empire. The leaders of the time ordered the deportation and killing of Armenians. So deport, kicked out of the country. Deportation and killing of Armenians, a minority group in the empire. This event is known as the Armenian Genocide. It's a sensitive and painful topic, as many Armenians lost their lives, and it has affected relationships between Turkey and Armenia, as well as other countries. Those other countries they're talking about, I mean, it's a lot of them, but I think they're mostly talking about Russia there, possibly the United States. The United States was involved in a little bit of controversy when it comes to the Armenian genocide. During President Barack Obama's administration, Barack Obama visited Turkey and kind of barely mentioned the Armenian genocide, but he kind of danced around it. A lot of Armenians wished he would have actually spoken about it. But I believe President Biden has addressed it since, and the US has finally recognized this genocide, but only recently. Modern Turkey. Today, Turkey is known for its vibrant culture that blends traditional and modern influences. It is a member of many international organizations and plays an important role in global affairs. The country continues to work on its relationships with neighbors and is a popular destination for tourists who come to see its historic sites and natural beauty. Here's the conclusion. Turkey's history is rich with stories of empires, battles, and cultural achievements. It is a country that has continuously evolved. So, evolved is another way to say change. So, basically, it's always changing and remains a bridge between East and West. Learning about Turkey helps us understand the complexities of history and the importance of respecting different cultures and histories. So that is just a first read with that chapter about Turkey or Turkey. I think it's pretty complex. I think it has some words that can be challenging.